Hey guys, hope everybody's doing great. Wanted to dive in again today to this little bit more into the macros thing and the chart. I know there's still some confusion, but really the reason I'm pushing this thing so hard now is that I was never really a big fan of tracking and trying to count calories and weigh foods and things like that because it was so time consuming that no one could really do it very well. This was back when we had to look things up in a book to find calories, measure things out with measuring cups and ounces and weigh things, and it was just way too time consuming for the average person to invest that kind of time. But now with FitnessPal and these different apps, it's really easy. Somebody Tracy just showed me last week about how to scan the barcodes and throw that in there. So anything that's in processed food that's in a box or in a bag or anything like that that has a label or a UPC code, whatever it's called, you can scan that right into the MyFitnessPal with your phone. So it's so easy. Now, again, I don't want you guys to think you have to track your food every day for the rest of your life. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. First of all, once you get your basic foods in there, daily tracking is like seriously 5 minutes. Now, granted, on the weekends or if there's times where you're out and you're eating things that are unusual for you, you might not be able to get them exactly. But once you've done it for a couple weeks, you start to learn sizes and portions, and that's probably the most valuable thing. Is that you know if your goal is 1,800 calories a day and 200 grams of carbohydrate, and you start looking at bread and rice and potatoes and fruit and oatmeal or anything that has carbohydrates, you start to get a good sense of what 1 cup looks like, what 2 cups look like. So you have to measure them the first couple times out, but once you've done that, you'll be able to ballpark it in your mind. So even if you're out to eat and you order, you're at a Chinese restaurant and you get chicken and rice, you'll have a sense of how much rice you can and should eat. So you really won't have to track it in the MyFitnessPal all the time or measure it all the time, but it definitely helps give you a good starting point. And also, it's the best way to be able to troubleshoot and figure out what we need to change if things aren't working out, right? So if you're tracking and you're not losing weight, you're not leaning out, or whatever your desired outcome is, if you're trying to gain weight, if you're not gaining weight, the only way I can really know how to adjust you is if I know exactly what you're doing. So if you are tracking, it'll be very easy to tweak your total calories, your protein, carbs, and fat to get our desired result. So that's really the key, and that's the reason I'm hammering it home, is to really spend some time doing that. And then also for you guys to start learning your own bodies and learning how to make decisions about food that don't revolve around just listening to 1 or 2 sample meal plans, because that's great for a little while, but it becomes very limiting when you want to change things up or eat differently. So once you know your target calories, your target macros, if you see that you've tracked it for a week and your protein is consistently light, you can either up your protein intake from a food standpoint, and that can be from any of the good protein sources, eggs, most meats, dairy, things like that. Or you can throw in a protein powder. I've had a few people that noticed that their protein was a good 25 to 50 grams low and everything else was in line. So we just added 1 or 2 whey protein shakes a day and they're good to go. So don't think of it as something that's more difficult or restrictive. Look at it as a tool to help you get to where you're trying to go much faster and more effectively. All right, so if you haven't tried it, give it a shot. Trust me on this one, and it will make life much easier for you, and the results will come that much quicker. Have a good day.